Hey everyone, and welcome to Already Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Tara, and we are going to talk about the Twilight Zone. It's Season 2, Episode 10. We're 10 episodes out of Season 2 already? That can't be right. That can't be right. I don't feel like we've done 10 of these in Season 2. But yes, Episode 10. It's called A Most Unusual Camera. So, full spoilers for the episode, as always. This episode is about a camera that takes photos of the future, about 5 minutes, give or take. I mean, they say 5 minutes in the episode, it feels a bit loosey-goosey as to how long it is.
It's about 45 seconds.
It's about 45 seconds, except for when they actually try to use it for gambling purposes, and then it has to be at least 5 minutes because, reasons. Hey, that is the premise of the episode. We have this couple, this married couple who are actually thieves, and they have stolen a bunch of stuff that they're disappointed with. But amongst the belongings is a camera. Now, actually, maybe you wouldn't know this, but do you happen to know if Polaroids existed yet? Because I was wondering if that was even a thing by 1960.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I wouldn't have thought
I feel
so
like
either.
the Polaroids started around the 70s, but I don't really know, because I think that's when you start seeing them in movies.
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, is the concept of the photo popping up out of the camera, like, was that like a weird idea at the time? And people, like, is because I mean, it is just a camera with a box around it, and I just wondered, like, okay, did they have Polaroid? So this is not a weird concept, other than the fact that there's no way to put film in it to give it more,
Well, no, but I mean, the cameras like that used to have like plates that they would put in. And
Yes.
it would have like a something to capture a picture, but I think you would have to develop it still.
Yeah, you started to
I don't
develop
think
it.
it's self-developed.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, though, because the idea of the Polaroid being the photograph just pops out of it and it's ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fairly certain that was an alien concept in 1960.
I'm not researching. I'm doing very minimal research. 1947.
The Polaroid?
Mm-hmm. Polaroid founder Edwin Land first demonstrated the instant camera on February 21st, 1947.
That is much earlier than I would have guessed.
Mm.
Were they household items though?
No, that's when he gave a demonstration to like the Optics Society.
No, but I mean by
America?
1960, not 1947. Like, were they things people had generally?
I don't know how to search for that without like doing a lot of research. I don't want to do that.
I'm not asking you to. I'm just posing the question. Like, were they household items yet? Is it something that
Yeah, maybe.
if you showed someone a Polaroid camera,
I'm sure if you had something like that you can produce cheap enough to market, I'm sure it would catch on pretty quick.
Well, yeah,
maybe by 13 years later, it would be a household item.
Well, this is what I'm asking. I'm asking if you show someone in 1960 a Polaroid camera, did they go, oh, shrug, like, yeah, the Polaroid camera, I've seen one of those before, or does it go, oh, that's fancy? Like, are they still impressed by that?
I don't know. Your hypotheticals are getting way more specific each time.
I'm not asking you for an actual answer. That's what I'm posing. I'm just posing that thought. Like, how high tech did this feel in 1960? I have no idea.
Well, they picked it up like it was an old camera. So whatever it was, it's old to them. It looks like a camera from Red Dead Redemption 2, which is at the turn of the century, so of 1800s.
Sure. All right. So they have this camera, and we have this married couple. They take a photo, just so like, I may as well take a photo. Photograph pops out. It dings like a microwave, which was an interesting choice. It's like, ding! Okay. Mm-hmm. I guess. I mean, admittedly, microwaves weren't that common in the 1960s, so it's not like they made that choice based on a microwave, but that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like a microwave dinging.
Or like a timer.
Yes, I guess.
Like an egg timer. Those would have been common.
Those would have been common. And they're not common now. I've literally never used a timer in my life. But anyway, they take a photo, and what they discover is that it takes a photo, because they take a photo of the wife, and it's like, okay, pose over to the window. They look at it, and he kind of notices, wait a minute, you're wearing a fur coat in this. You weren't wearing a fur coat. And they do this kind of comical thing where they sort of, like, takes her a moment to realise, where she looks at herself and goes, yeah, I look great. What are you talking about? There's nothing wrong. I'm here. I'm wearing that. Oh, ding dong. There's the light bulb goes off. And it's like, okay, so that's weird. That must be a trick camera, it's got. And you know what's so funny is what he describes. Oh, there's stuff already on the photographs. It just takes the face. I'm like, He's describing like some really like I feel like to do that now and have it look as lifelike as this photograph looks. Like, yeah, it would require Photoshop.
This camera comes with Photoshop.
Yeah, we're talking about like advanced Photoshop skills to make it all blend seamlessly.
Well, I mean, they used to have these things at like carnival rides and stuff where you can get your picture taken like that, and it would be just that. It would be like an image that they would superimpose, and then line up your face into the image, and then take the picture. So it wasn't any like photoshopping being done. It was,
but that was like pre-established, and they had everything set up perfectly so that your face was in the right place, it was the right size, like the lighting was probably the right sort of, you know, shade and whatnot. Like everything was like set up so that they could just slot you in, do it, and have it, you know, produced quickly. But this is not that. This is like a photograph you take anywhere. It just made me laugh because I'm like, my understanding of how all this works now is like, yeah, this takes effort and time, and like that he thinks this camera could just do it as if it's nothing. I mean, it's taking magical photos of the future.
It's hard to explain that it's taking pictures of the future.
Yeah. But of course, they get into like a trunk they also stole a minute later, and what's inside about a fur coat? And again, the wife doesn't realise right away. She's like, oh, a fur coat, and she starts dancing around in it, and he's just like standing there like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's a little unbelievable how much she doesn't like register things right away.
I kind of like it, just in the sense that I think what the biggest...
Well, everybody's like super fun to watch in this episode.
The biggest strength of this episode is just how entertaining the characters are, particularly the couple, the married couple. The way he kind of rambles on. There's some funny stuff, like a little bit later when they're trying to think about what to do with their newfangled, you know, future telling camera, and he gives this speech about how they shouldn't use it for financial gain because they should give back to humanity for once, because people could, you know, science could use this could be used to better lives, until they realize they can use it for gambling and betting on the horse races, and someone says, what about humanity? What's humanity ever done for us? Which is what someone said to him like a minute ago. So they're very entertaining, they're very mischievous, kind of bickering, sort of classic comedy characters, and I think obviously the MacGuffin of the camera is a fun idea, but I really don't think this episode is trying to like explore like any great themes or ideas with the science fiction element. I think it's just trying to have fun, and I think on that level it does quite well.
Yeah, it's a bit of a horror episode disguised as a comedy, you know, because it's telling you your future, and the future, like in the beginning, starts off fun, like you get a fur coat, you're gonna, you know, win lots of money, but then as you know later on the pictures get a bit darker, and they show people in peril or dead even. Also, like, there's a bit of a, like, is it really showing your future because the picture is taken? Is it, you know, shaping your future?
Well, there's one photograph where it's kind of doing that towards the end, but every other photograph before that, like, you know, the betting and all that stuff, like, there's no way that could be them like shaping their own future, like, because it's still getting it right. So I feel like that's something that we've explored in other science fiction episodes or shows or movies, you know, throughout the time, is this idea of predestination. Because you think something's going to happen, you basically ensure that it will happen. I don't think this episode even, like, I mean, I'm not saying Rod Serling's not a smart guy and didn't think of it in some context, but I don't think this episode is even trying to scratch that surface. It's not interested in doing that.
I don't know. I think the last two photos kind of lean toward it though, because they see that they accidentally take a picture. Okay. Her brother and her husband or boyfriend or whatever accidentally take a picture of the woman, and she's yelling at them, and she looks like she's terrified. And then he's like, well, why is she terrified? She's terrified because you did something. And then they start fighting.
No, I agree. I thought of this during this moment as well, and then I dismissed it immediately because I'm like, no, because every other photo before this does not apply to at all.
I don't know. Maybe the camera's messing with them.
They didn't go out of their way to get a fur coat. It was already there. It had to be there. They didn't, you know, get out of their way to have their brother walk through the door, because that's the second photograph. He just, that's something that happens. They can't enforce what the results of the horse race is going to be. Every other one does not apply to that thinking at all. So I don't think the episode was trying to say anything about that. I think, if anything, it just felt like a fun way to sort of tease what was about to happen. I think it's technically there because it, like, I don't want to say it by accident, but just because of what it's doing plot-wise, technically, yes, that one photograph brings up the idea of predestination. But every other photo has just been a guaranteed thing to happen. It's not been anything that they have led to in any way, shape, or form.
Maybe the camera is sentient, and it is choosing to show them the truth in the beginning, and then in the end, it will choose to take pictures of things that'll make you go crazy. Who knows? Rod Serling wrote this one. He's not always consistent.
I'm fairly certain I do know. This is my response to that. I don't. This episode's not concerned with it at all. The episode doesn't want to explore like big themes. It wants to have fun with.
It's definitely a fun episode.
Characters.
It reminds me of the guy who like is so afraid of death that he makes a deal that he can't die and he keeps throwing himself for the trains. And it was an early episode in season 1.
It's the same tone as that episode for sure.
Yeah, really goofy, just kind of a fun character doing ridiculous things.
But the characters are so fun playing off each other. Like her like constantly berating him because because he says it's her fault that the score at the start wasn't big enough, and then she says it was his fault because he was casing the joint. They're constant bickering, like they hate each other, but also they always seem to be united whenever it comes to getting more money or stealing something. Or they always come back to being united whenever like a goal is in mind. But whenever they have a chance to stop and explore mistakes or do anything else, they just bicker. But in an entertaining way. I think the actors here are what make this one work. If these two actors weren't playing these roles, the thing would probably fall apart.
Yeah, I agree. I think all three are really good. I like the brother too. He has kind of a weird shtick when he speaks, but I like it.
Yeah, he's even dumber than the wife though. He doesn't get anything. Like they have to over explain like the idea to him. Like we take a photo of the board, the winning board, and then we'll know what wins. He's like, I'm not quite following you. Well, we'll see what's winning before they win. I get it. I get it. So no, I mean.
Yeah, it's fun.
The core idea makes for a lot of fun, and I think there is definitely a more kind of serious science fiction like story to be done with like a camera that takes photos from 5 minutes in the future. And you could do the story where it's like, oh, are you just sort of like making it happen because you believe it's supposed to happen? But I really don't think this episode is like I say, it's that one photo. That is the only photo that leads to that. Really,
it's a little bit of a allegory to like, if you had a superpower, would you use it for good? Because they tease maybe they'll use it for good, but they don't. They ultimately become supervillains.
Yeah, if anything,
only out for themselves.
If anything, you could say there's maybe some karma because like they do just use it for themselves, and that's why it all kind of comes undone by the end. Because of course we have the funny ending where they fight because they see her screaming, and they're like both of their ideas is really weird. Like the husband says, "Oh, my wife is screaming. That must be because you're trying to kill me." And he pulls out a knife to fight him. And he's like, "No, she must be screaming because you're trying to kill me." So they fight and fall out the window, and both die. And and this is where
she cries for about 3 seconds.
Yeah,
this is realizes she's rich.
This is where the entertaining characters comes into it because she's upset about it, and then she looks down at all the money they've got from the gambling. She's like, well, it's best not to dwell on sad times. Life must go on. And she starts packing up her money. And she's like, you know what? I'll use the last photo for posterity. Actually, because that's the other detail we've not mentioned is that the room service dude that comes up, who's French, reads the writing on the front, and it says 10 uses. And he's like, oh, there's no way to put in more film. And then that's when all three of the crooks all realize, wait a minute. Well, yeah, we've only got 2 left. We've already taken 8 photos. So it's like, oh, there's a time limit on this. There's only so many times we can use it. So that's why the things they're kind of bickering about. And they accidentally take the last photo, the 9th photo of her screaming because they're kind of arguing and bickering over and fighting over the camera. But she, just as she's about to make a great escape, the room service dude comes back up and is like, aha, I'm going to steal all your money because you're on your own now. And he starts putting it all in the bag and he's taking it from her and she's really mad about it. And the photo that she took of the 2 dead bodies out the window, I mean, hell, even that episode you talked about how the guy was trying to kill himself, didn't that even end with like jumping out of a window or jumping off the roof? Was that episode?
That was like the middle scene because he was going to jump off the roof and then the wife tried to stop him and she fell off the roof.
That's right. That's what I'm thinking of. That's what I'm thinking of.
Or in the jail cell.
But she looks at the photograph and there's more than 2 people and she's like, more than 2 people, and she runs over to look out the window and trips and falls out the window. It's actually a really funny scene.
Yeah, it is funny.
Yeah, and then the concierge looks at it and is like, okay, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we don't even see what happens. We just hear him scream, and then it goes back to Rod Serling.
Maybe a gust of wind.
Yeah, a gust of wind took him out. So if I have a disappointment, it's that I didn't see how he. Because it's almost like an early like Final Destination-esque thing. Like, okay, he's going to go out the window, but how does he fall out the
Four people
window?
going out the window by accident, it's a little silly.
In the space of 5 minutes, yeah, it's a little bit on the ridiculous side. I will actually say, on the subject of Rod Serling coming in, when he entered the episode at the start of the episode, he did this like sort of quick pan from the camera. There was a close up of the camera on the table, and it pans over to the side where he is. It looked really bad. It had this really awkwardness to it because they clearly like cut between two shots, but tried to disguise it as if it was one shot, and the height on the shot of the camera was a little bit off. So it had this sort of stilted thing before it span, and it looked really rough. So
I'm really nervous for him because when we see him at the end, he's standing in a bunch of snow, talking about the next episode being some kind of Santa Claus episode. Actually, it did sound interesting, but the whole time I was thinking, look at all that fake snow. And all that fake snow at that time was made out of cryostyle asbestos.
Yeah, that's
just lumps and lumps of asbestos falling on him. And then he's such a heavy smoker. Like,
hey, Tara,
I was so sad for his future.
But we literally can look up when he died. It's not a question anymore. We don't have to worry about it. But that's not what I was thinking. Do you know what I was thinking during this end segment when he was telling us about next week's episode?
What was that?
How bad it looked.
Oh, really? I thought it sounded fun.
No. You misunderstand me.
Oh, you mean like the quality of
Yes. It was videotape.
Okay, we're getting it.
Which tells me, yeah, we're getting it. Because when this one started, I was like, oh, we lucked out. It's just another film shot episode.
I forgot all about it.
Yeah, now it looks like the next episode is going to be the second videotape recorded episode. It looked rough. So, unfortunately, if it is a good episode, it's going to be one that looks like a soap opera or a daytime kids show or something. Which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. We know we've got 5 more of these coming, so this will knock one out next time. But we get a Christmassy one next episode.
Should be fun. I don't think we've had a holiday inspired one.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, Christmassy, but he mentioned a leprechaun. We're getting a leprechaun one, so that's exciting. We should get Tim on to review it.
I would rather be the 5th person to fall out the window. Thank you very much. This episode though was good fun. I actually think this one was really entertaining. It's one of those things where
so too, yeah.
It's not the most thought provoking episode by any means, or even
they don't have to be
really at all. But I think it's in the upper tier of actually enjoyable watching episodes though so far, because it's just so entertaining. The characters are likable and fun to watch. The premise is fun, and I don't think, because one of the big complaints we had for the first few episodes of this season, although it's not been an issue for most of the recent episodes, maybe the robot one in the house was, but I didn't feel like it was incorrectly paced. I felt the pacing was really good. Every scene had a purpose. I never felt like it was dragging its feet or just stalling for time. So no,
it was a good one. I agree.
Give this a solid thumbs up. Thank you very much.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Oh. 8 out of 10.
8.5.
Do you always have to be more positive than me?
Yes. Every time I rate, you have to be more negative than me.
Only because normally when I bring up a rating,
I said 8 out of 10. You would have said 7.5.
No, I would not. That's entrapment. That's entrapment. No, it's not. That's not how entrapment works. But there's something.
Check the tapes.
Slander. It's definitely slander. So that was a most unusual camera. And the next one, so we mentioned I'm talking about it Christmassy, but I always read the description on IMDb to give us a sense. So here's the description on IMDb. After a derelict Santa Claus is fired on Christmas Eve, he finds a mysterious bag that gives out presents. With this bag, he sets out to fulfill his one wish, to see the less fortunate inherit the bounties of Christmas. Yes, Foxy.
Sounds nice.
Sounds a bit too cheery for my liking. I'm getting a sense that we're going to have a darker...
I swear he brought up leprechauns because I got really excited.
He did say the word leprechaun. I don't know if he said that we're going to get leprechauns though, if it was going to be more like he was comparing Santa Claus to things like leprechauns and other like myths.
Well, that's disappointing. Because Santa Claus isn't real, but leprechauns, watch out.
Sure. Yes.
They'll get you.
Are you worried about leprechauns? Is that a constant fear you have?
That's why I don't eat Lucky Charms anymore.
Oh god, I just clicked on a screenshot on IMDb. Oh, this episode's going to look rough. Alright. But you can let us know, of course, what you thought of this week's episode with the camera in the comments. You can like and subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mail_fuzz for channel updates. If I can talk over the noisy traffic. How dare they interrupt.
Sorry.
Tara, why don't you tell the people about Patreon?
Yeah, if you like what we do and you'd like to see more and support us, you can check out our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/SmileFuzzTV, and donating as low as $1 per month will get you bonus episodes of other shows we do, including The Ace, which is our science fiction movie review show, The Atomic Cinema Experiment. We got a few movies available at the $1 tier, so go check it out. Maybe you'll see some B movies you recognize.
And you can also get early access to these Twilight Zone reviews at the $5 tier as well. So go have a look. But that is us. That has been already cancelled, the episode of the Twilight Zone. Thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys, in the Twilight Zone.